Hi, baby, and we're back on a Cooligans Living Room FC, and finally our guest is here. This is exciting.
I'm absolutely thrilled to have, not only a great player, but also the youngest player to ever be drafted in the NWSL. It's pretty dope.
Yo, number 2 overall. I've never been picked number 2 for anything, you know? Even when I proposed to wifey, she's like, I don't know, you're kind of third option right now.
Okay. There's a couple other dudes that really, the ring is looking a little bit better on these other
She's
guys.
like, option number 1 is single, you know? Option number 2, anybody but you. And then you. But she's absolutely amazing. Can't wait to see her play for the Washington Spirit for the NWSL. Ladies and gentlemen, and if you're driving, pull the goddamn over so you can put your hands together for the one, the only Trinity Rodman, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, pretty standard intro. I think that you've received, right?
Right, this is normal, right? Intro for you at this point.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Look, I think the first question for you is obviously I did mention you are the youngest player to be drafted in the NWSL. Obviously, you know, we had your now teammate on the show before, Ashley Sanchez, and also very young, right? And who really mentioned that the transition leaving California and then just being on your own, and you sort of still feel like a kid, and now you have to like do all this adult stuff. And you got to worry about all these new things. How's the adjustment been for you? Being a pro now.
Honestly, it hasn't been that hard, which is surprising for me to say because I thought it'd just be like this huge, like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to know how to do anything on my own. But since I've been here, it's been pretty nice, and like teammates are awesome. My roommate's awesome. So it's been pretty chill. And my mom even said, she's like, I knew you'd be fine. You're really independent. So I was like, yeah, it's nice to be alone and away from my mom for once.
It must feel good, you know, especially when your roommate doesn't yell at you. You know what I mean? It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah. It's weird when your roommate does. You're like, oh my God, this is not what I signed up for.
Also, we're both Latino. If you call your parents roommates, a lot of bad happens after that. Yelling is the least of your problems. What does it feel to now have a different set of expectations? Because before this, you know, you're playing soccer at an extremely high level. The whole point is to get signed or to get noticed by a scout or to get to a college. At this point now, like, you playing for a chip, you're playing with like full-on adults who have mortgages and stuff. Just talk a little bit about sort of that expectation now that you have on you, and does it feel different?
It's definitely different. Obviously, I have to be a lot more responsible and a lot more, like I said, independent. And I think it's obviously without having my mom and like friends around as much, it's like more on my shoulders. So even just like on the field, I'm a lot more not hard on myself, but I need to get everything done. And if I mess up, I'm like, okay, let's restart. Let's do this again. And I don't know, with just everything, it's definitely different from when I had my mom around, because I was like, Mom, can you fill out this form? Can you do this? Can you do that? And so, yeah, it's definitely a lot different just having to do everything on my own and kind of have that self-independence to like be able to lean on myself emotionally and like mentally for everything. So it's nice though.
Yeah, because you can't be like, Coach, can you sign my permission slip to play this road game? You know,
forms for me.
Yeah. Although you have an agent, they're getting paid, so start filling out these forms if you want that 10%, my G. I mean, look, the question has to be asked, right? As soon as you're mentioned, and you know, kudos to you because you got mentioned across a span of sports shows that never mentioned women's soccer. But unfortunately, it wasn't for your gameplay or how good you are, the fact that you went second overall. It was because of who your dad is and your last name. You know, is there extra pressure on you to sort of perform because of that? Or should you just have changed your name, right? Should you have gone with like Trinity Jordan or something like that? Be like, you know, get that pressure off.
No, I don't think there's any pressure, just because I'd honestly say there's more pressure for my brother just because they play the same sport. But for me, I don't see any pressure. And I think just the way I play, the only pressure that I have is like work rate, and I'll never run out of that. And I think in any sport, that's all you can give is like the most, because you don't learn work rate. It's just there. And for me, I don't feel any pressure. It's obviously like it gets old sometimes where you're like, oh, Dennis Rodman's daughter, Dennis Rodman. But like, I don't feel any pressure. I just do my thing on the field and let everybody else talk outside of that.
Okay.
Most people's parents, like, you know, I grew up without a father, but my mom, I wouldn't say she was cool. You know what I mean? Like, your dad has like a different. Was he corny to you at some point? Where you're like, with the like, do you dress different just because you're like, if God forbid I wear something bedazzled, they're gonna say like I'm like my father. You know what I mean?
He was a weirdo, yeah. I don't know. My style and everything's pretty like chill for the most part. I'm not afraid to like wear a bunch of like weird stuff, but I'm just like pretty chill for the most part. I think as I get older, I'll find more of like my own style and like maybe get a little bit more creative, wear more than just black and white. But yeah, I definitely don't dress as extravagant as he does. But.
Extravagant's a great word.
It takes a couple years. Like I remember when it took till I was like, I don't know, 23, 24 till like I was like, let me try different things. Let me see who I am. Like one time I wore sunglasses at a nightclub. I was like, all right, let me see if I'm this guy. And
turns out you couldn't see shit.
I'm not this guy, you know?
Yeah. That's funny.
So yeah, it is. Look, it is. I guess the frustrating part because a lot of people were really supportive of you, and critical of the way the media constantly kind of made this comparison. You know, there were times where they were bringing up who your father was, rather than even saying what team you played for, what position you played, or any kind of statistic. Is there I guess it's not even about pressure, but is that like on your conscience of like how the game is covered to some degree, and the fact that you can, so even just by making a name for yourself, you can make an impact on like how they talk about the women's soccer in America?
Yeah, I've said this before. It's kind of just a given for his name to always be there and his game to be talked about and his lifestyle to be talked about. But I've said to a lot of people, I'm more excited for people to see me like develop as a player and get better. And I'm honestly excited that they haven't really talked about my gameplay yet, because I'm excited for them to see where I am now and then like be able to say, whoa, she's like the most improved player ever, rather than she's good already. I want it like people to look at me and be like, oh, she's improved the most throughout this league.
That's awesome. And looking at just sort of how you're portrayed by people who do talk about soccer, even CNN, the first line says you're a rising star with the U.S. women's national team. I mean, talk a little bit about that, because sort of the expectations are not just on you to sort of help the Washington Spirit and help grow NWSL and help grow women's soccer. No pressure, but now also represent the country. Like, what do you think your chances are with the women's national team, and what would you like to sort of show early on?
I want to show that I'm mature, not just on the field, but off the field, because I think obviously like a lot of coaches and stuff, they look at an 18-year-old and they probably think, oh, she's really immature, like she can't handle stuff, she's not responsible. And I want to be able to show people that I can be mature and I can be this beast on the field, but I can also be this professional person off the field. And also just, I've been playing with the U.S. women's national team for a while, like at youth ages. I started, I think, 2015 or 16. So it's been nice to like grow as a player and like get a following and people that support me and are seeing my development. But I think what I said, just being able to be seen as like a professional, mature individual is going to be a great thing. Being able to go into maybe the full women's national team after maybe a season or 2 seasons or moving forward.
Okay, yeah, we can't wait to see it either. All right, we have so much more with Trinity Rodman coming right up after this. All right, welcome back to the Cooligans Living Room FC. We are here with Trinity Rodman of the Washington Spirit. And Trinity, I want to talk about draft day. It was obviously very different this time around compared to having a big in-person kind of event. But it was really sweet, especially seeing you when you got drafted and your mom hugging you and everybody. It felt like this low-key thing, but also clearly your mom was like super excited.
It felt like we all got drafted, you know?
It's just like you found out you got drafted like in the kitchen. You're like, okay, cool, this is great. And we had a question from, we have our supporters group called the Gully Squad, and Justin Friedberg, he had asked, he said, what was your first reaction once you saw your name selected? Like, what was the experience? Did you know where you might go? Or did you have any inkling?
I had a little bit of an inkling, but at the back of my head, I was still really nervous because at the end of the day, you still really don't truly know until your name's called. So my heart was pounding. I was shaking. My mom was like, chill out. Like, there's nothing you can do about it.
Were you like, are there any other Trinity Rodmans? Or this is me? This is me, right?
And so my name got called, and I think the sense of like relief knowing that I finally made it, or not finally, because I guess I'm only 18, so it wasn't that big of a wait, but just like the relief of building up to it and just like knowing that all my work paid off. I think I was really proud of myself because I don't say that a lot, and I'm never like, oh, I'm really proud of what I just did. And I think that moment I was like, Mom, I'm really proud, like I did it. And so I was just really relieved and happy, and obviously you could tell with her reaction. I didn't have as big of a reaction just because I was kind of in shock still. And my friends even were coming in, but they missed the reaction because they all came in and like hugged me and like tackled me. It was really cool, but they missed it. So it was really exciting.
That's awesome. Now you're on this team, and we have a question from Laura McCoy, who said, who are you excited to learn from on the Spirit? It's such a great group there.
Yeah, I think obviously we have Emily Sonnet and Kelly O'Hara, like the full women's nationals, Andy Sullivan. It's going to be awesome to learn and see even just their habits on what they do before practice, after practice, and their intelligence on the game. But I think within my position, I'm really excited to learn from Ashley Hatch because she's a really good player, and I got to talk to her a bunch. She's really sweet too, and she's really about teaching me and just telling me kind of what to do and what to improve every single time, because we've been on a team just like in practices and stuff, and I'll ask her, I'll be like, was that right? Did I do that right? What do I need to improve? And she'll tell me straight up what I need to improve, where I need to cut off, where I need to run, where I need to pass the ball. And it's just nice to have that person that's kind of in my position on the attacking half to be able to tell me and help me get goals and assists and stuff. So probably Ashley Hatch.
Okay, yeah, and watching, I've watched a couple, U.S. Youth National Tournament, and I've seen you play. And one thing I enjoy very much is that you definitely are a mindful attacker, but you're a great passer as well. Is there any player that you not necessarily modeled your game after, or that you really appreciated, that you kind of wanted to be like, or are you kind of developing that stuff on your own style?
I obviously have people that I look up to, but I don't think I ever am like, oh, I want to play exactly like her, because I think I want my game to be completely different in the sense of like just building myself. Like obviously I want to be like, oh, she has the speed of Lynn Williams, but I never want to be like, oh, Trin got her play from so-and-so. So I guess my mindset's kind of just, I think work rate's my biggest thing, because everyone has different types of work rate. Everyone can just be their own, and like you don't, like I said, you don't have to learn it. So everybody has their own like percentage of work rate during the game. So I think, I don't know, I'm a big person on kind of running the whole game and trying to get the ball as much as I can. And I think that's a lot different than a lot of players. Is like, obviously being a forward, you don't have to run back and get the ball back and go on defense. And I think I'm different in that sense. So I want to continue that, and I want people to see that I can work hard offensively to score and also work hard to defend the goal and help the backs and the midfielders.
But just don't work too hard, because they're gonna put you at center back. And
I know, right? That's what they do to forwards. That's what they do. They move you back.
You gotta be like Grant. You gotta be a diva up front, like all the other forwards. All right, appreciate the shine a little bit, the spotlight.
Also, stop with the passing, yo. You get buckets, right? If you give the ball up, you can't get buckets.
Yo, we're gonna get a call from Coach Richie Burke. Like, yo, you can't be on the show again. All right?
You need to stop talking about shit you don't understand. Actually, this is a great question from Luke Stergio. He said it was noted in an ESPN interview that you're an avid painter. Playing different sports helps you play the one sport and what to focus on. Does painting help you in any way play better?
I don't know. I think I have a lot of creativity just in everything. I think very in depth about everything. And Painting, I don't know. I think it's maybe it does, honestly, but it's just like a little hobby that I decide to do. Like if I'm bored one day, I'll go to the store, get a canvas, and then paint, and then afterwards I'm like, dang, I'm good.
You get locked in a zone, and then when you come out of it, you're like, wow, who painted this?
Okay, yeah, I am Picasso.
So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, really.
I could go pro in 2 sports, apparently.
Yeah, but I love painting. I think it's a nice way to like kind of have creativity outside of just one thing in life. And I don't know, it's a good hobby. It's relaxing. It's motivating when you can do well with it. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it's relaxing. I don't know if it helps me play better, but it's a nice hobby to have.
Nice. Unless you're painting like the scoreboard of the next match with like you guys winning 3-0. Like, okay, manifesting it. I like it. We got more with Trinity Rodman when we get back after this. Hi, baby. We're back on the Cooligans Living Room FC. Obviously, we're here with Trinity Rodman of the Washington Spirit, number 2 overall selection in the NWSL draft. Trinity, now you're about to be a pro, and things are different, right? You've been joining new teams, right, from college or from youth. As a comic, the first moment where I realized I was a comic, I thought it was going to be when I got like a first big laugh. But that wasn't it. The moment I completely bombed. I mean, everything I said didn't work. And I was like, do you guys hear me? Is the mic off? That moment is where I kind of like walked away and I realized like, yo, that's it. I'm a comic, right? What is it for you? Like, what do you think is going to be that moment where you realize like, yo, I'm a pro? Is it just walking out, hearing your name called? Do you think it's going to be like your first goal you score?
I honestly think it'll be more in practice, seeing my improvement, maybe like in scrimmages, scoring more goals or like having really good crosses and being able to keep up with everybody. I think that's been the biggest thing for me, is just wanting to feel like I'm not always trying to catch up to everybody. And I think the moment where I can keep up, I can play as fast, I can score on people, I can defend people, I think that's the moment that I'm going to be like, yeah, I can really keep up. This is my career. This is my job. This is my sport. So I think the moment that I'm able to say that I'm as good as them and able to defend them and score on them is going to be the moment where I can claim this.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let me put it in a not so nice way. When I really flex out there in front of all those other pros, that's when I know I'm going to be pro.
Okay, yeah. Just paraphrasing. That's all. I'm curious. So far, you've had a couple your practices already with your team. Has there been that moment of like, yo, this ain't college, you know what I mean? Like, or this ain't high school. This isn't. Is there any player that took you by surprise, or whether it was a tackle or somebody got by you, that was like, okay, this is pretty legit?
Or a keeper who's like, damn, springs down there, dog.
Yeah, I'd probably say Ashley Hatch again, just because in one of the practices we were playing this game against 3 goals, so 2 teams against 3 goals, and our coach would call out and say go, and we'd all have to run around, sprint around a cone, come back, and whoever got to the ball first could attack to goal. And me and Hatch, when he said go, we were both sprinting around, and I'm like kind of used to being one of the faster people, so I was like, oh, I got this, no worries. And so we both sprint around the cone, and I'm sprinting to the ball, and I look to my left, and she's right there, and I'm like, oh, shoot. And so I get to the ball, and she's right behind me, and I end up falling, and she gets it. So I was like, okay, I can't do that anymore.
It ain't as easy as it was everywhere else.
Yeah, but they're definitely so much faster, so much stronger, so I'm going to have to beef up.
Yeah, she had a great Challenge Cup too, so she's in top form. Kyle Ritchie asks, do you think the Olympics will happen, and what do you think are your chances of making the squad?
I mean, I hope they happen. I think they will, but I don't know. I'm not going to have an expectation just because I am very young, and there are forwards in my position that are even just a little bit older and have more experience, because obviously I haven't even been into one full women's camp, so I'm not going to have expectations. It would be great, and I'm totally mentally ready for anything that comes, but I'm not going to have that expectation yet. I'm just ready to build up to that, I guess.
Of course. We had a question from Douglas Reyes-Cerrone, who is a Spirit fan as well. He had asked, what's the first place you're going to visit when you check out DC, and can we make it Ben's Chili Bowl? The real DC monument.
Very popular.
Okay, so I don't know. Look, I personally don't know too much about DC and what the popular food is. That's more
Or
of a-
food. He
or
doesn't know
food.
anything about food.
It's more of an Alexis thing. Are you that type of person where you're very interested and about what food is in the area and getting to know the culture around it?
Yeah, I'm definitely a big food person. I think I need to work on that because obviously being young, you don't kind of have to work on your diet as much. And when you get older, that's when you kind of have to buckle down. But I'm definitely a big foodie.
Well, don't say it right to Alexis's face.
I don't even know what she's talking about, to be completely honest. I'm like, buckle down, baby. There's no seatbelt here.
Funny. But do you know what crumble cookie is?
A crumble cookie?
Crumble cookie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've had that. No.
No, is it just
Yeah,
a cookie
so-
that's crumbled in a cup?
No. And it's just like, they're just really big cookies and they have new flavors every week. And so my roommate, she's like, these are the best cookies ever. Like, you need to come. So we literally drove 30 minutes to get cookies and then waited in like 40-degree weather outside for like 20 minutes and then drove 30 minutes back just for these cookies. And they're awesome. So crumble cookies, probably like the best place I've been to so far, food-wise.
You're so Cali that 40 degrees is a lot for you. I was like, what a nice day.
I need orca.
Yo, 40 degrees, I'd be out there in shorts. I'd be like, thank God.
So I just Googled crumble cookies. Yeah, they look pretty good.
You gotta try mumbo sauce. If I could tell you to do anything, it's mumbo sauce. That's what DC is known for. It's a special sauce on wings. They're fire.
Okay.
You can only get it
I
in
love
DC.
wings, so.
There you go, mumbo sauce. Let me know what you think when you get them.
Okay, I will.
Okay, yeah, because we have in New York, what's the insomnia cookie?
Oh, insomnia.
Oh, yeah, I have
Levain
that
does the
on
big
Washington
ones.
State.
Okay, yeah, and that's they usually put those near college campuses because they know those kids.
What, 2 a.m.? Who are we going to sell cookies to at 2 a.m.? Probably NYU students.
Okay, we have more with Trinity Rodman coming right up. All right, thank you so much to Trinity Rodman for joining us. Yes, absolutely crushed it. Of the Washington Spirit. An absolute blast to have you on the show. Trinity, is there anything you want to let people know about before we sign off?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody who follows me and just stay along this journey with me because there's going to be a lot of fun things coming and hopefully a lot of goals and celebrations. So stay tuned for that. And also, if you want to follow more closely, I have an Instagram. It's Trinity_Rodman. And then my TikTok is Trinity.Rodman.
Okay, that's right. And you also have a great YouTube channel that you do a bunch of cool videos there as well.
Yeah.
YouTube,
I got to post more, though.
Okay. And Trinity, we do our goal GIF, our goal celebration GIF, and this is your opportunity. Look, you score your first goal for the Washington Spirit. How are you going to celebrate?
The 90th minute winner.
What's it going to look like?
Well, I have huge muscles, as you can see.
Very evident, yeah.
So it'd probably be like this.
Love it.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much again, Trinity, for joining us. Make sure you follow us at Soccer Cooligans. Follow at Fubo Sports on all social media channels, and make sure to subscribe to the Fubo Sports YouTube channel for full episodes of the program. All right, let us end the show as is tradition, the way we normally do. So for Trinity Rodman, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
And together, what are we?
The Cool!